Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the secrets hidden in plain sight within corporate filings. Today we're diving into the latest report from Audax Private Credit Fund, LLC. Get ready because we're about to uncover how they're managing their money and what it really means for their investors, with a special focus on some rather interesting sales figures. Before we dive in, if you love getting these straightforward insights from sometimes complex financial documents, make sure you're subscribed. And hey, we've built a fantastic community over on Discord where we break down these filings even further, so join us there. The link is in the description. Alright, let's get straight into it. This document is an 8K filing, which is essentially a company's way of telling the public about any major events that shareholders should know about, and it's filed pretty quickly after the event happens. Think of it as a company's urgent bulletin board. Our focus today is Audax Private Credit Fund, LLC. Now, when you see private credit fund, it means they're essentially lending money to companies, but not through traditional banks. They operate differently, often providing more flexible or specialized financing. This report is dated September 3rd, but it's reporting an event that happened around late August. This tells us they're keeping things current. Now, this is where things get interesting. Item 3 talks about the unregistered sale of equity securities. In simple terms, this means they sold ownership stakes or parts of their fund, but they didn't have to register these sales with the government in the usual way. This is often done when selling to sophisticated investors who are assumed to be able to assess the risks themselves. So back on August 1st, the Audax Private Credit Fund sold something called Limited Liability Company Interest, which we'll just call shares of the fund. The price for each share was set at $25.19. They started this selling process on August 1st, but the final numbers, like the exact number of shares and the total money raised, were nailed down on August 29th. This gives us a real-time snapshot of their fundraising activity. Now let's look at the table. They issued a significant number of shares, over 893,000 shares. And how much money did they bring in from this? They raised $22.5 million, so roughly 893,000 shares at $25.19 each equals that $22.5 million total. This is a pretty solid amount of capital infusion, showing investor confidence in what Audax is doing. This money came in through what are called subscription agreements. Think of these as detailed contracts between the fund and each investor, laying out all the terms and conditions of the investment. As I mentioned, these sales were exempt from the usual registration hoops. This usually means they were sold in private placements, often to accredited investors, people who have a certain level of income or net worth and are considered financially sophisticated. Moving on to item 811, which covers other events. This is often where you find crucial updates beyond specific transactions. Here they give us the net asset value, or NAV per share. The end is basically the total value of a fund's assets minus its liabilities, divided by the number of outstanding shares. It's a key measure of the fund's performance and current worth. As of July 31st, just before they finalized those share sales, the NAV per share was $25.19. This confirms the price they sold the shares at was right in line with the fund's reported net asset value. This is generally a good sign, meaning they're dealing fairly with new investors. On that same date, the total net asset value for the entire fund was a substantial $377.5 million. That's a lot of money managed under their umbrella. Their investment portfolio, the actual holdings that are generating value, was worth $699 field. But like many companies, they also carry debt. They had $348 isn't inherently bad. Debt can be used to amplify returns, but it needs to be managed carefully. And this brings us to a crucial metric, the debt to equity ratio, which was about 0.92. This means for every dollar of equity, they have about 92 cents in debt. This is a relatively healthy number. It suggests they're not overly leveraged. A ratio much higher than 1 would start to raise alarms about their ability to handle financial obligations, especially if the economy takes a downturn. They're using debt, but not in a way that seems reckless. And finally, we have the signatures. This is a formal sign-off confirming that the report is accurate and submitted by authorized personnel of Audax Private Credit Fund, LLC. Here, Grant Bokerman, acting as secretary, has signed off on the report, which is standard practice to ensure accountability. Now, let's put it all together. What's my take on this? Audax Private Credit Fund seems to be actively managing and growing its capital. They successfully raised a significant amount of money, $22.5 million, by selling new shares at a price that perfectly matched their reported net asset value. This indicates a well-disciplined approach to fundraising and investor relations. Their debt to equity ratio of 0.92 is a strong point. It shows they are using leverage, which is common and can be beneficial in finance, but they're doing so responsibly. They haven't over-leveraged, meaning they likely have a good cushion to weather any potential financial storms. The fact that they are a private credit fund means their business is focused on lending, which can be a lucrative but also complex area. Their ability to attract capital and maintain a healthy balance sheet suggests they are a player to watch in this space. The key takeaway here is growth and stability. They are attracting capital, their reported NAV is solid, and their financial structure appears robust. The story isn't one of dramatic events or massive losses or gains reported in this specific filing, but rather one of controlled growth and sound financial management typical of a maturing private credit fund. What do you think about Audax Private Credit Fund's latest report? Does their fundraising success and manageable debt give you confidence, or are there other factors you'd be looking at? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us out. And don't forget to subscribe for more regular dives into the world of finance and corporate filings. And again, join our Discord community. The link is in the description for even more insights and discussions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.